welcome to April, the April Reiki Reiju. And oh gosh, it's been an interesting month. Like March has been really intense. I don't know if you guys have been feeling that kind of shift, almost like we're dusting down 2 years of like COVID, right? And we're dusting down 2 years of lockdowns and being quite restricted, and we're starting to open up. And I think April, there's going to be a real acceleration of that. Now, in terms of the planets, we were talking about this last month, but there has been there is this big kind of alignment that's going on where all the planets are essentially direct until the end of April. So we've had March and now we're going into another month of it. So when the planets are direct, what that allows us to do, things go our way more easily, essentially. So it's like the planets are aligned and there's more opportunity for us to take advantage of the energy as it comes in. There's less blockaging, there's less like obstruction, there's less, all that kind of stuff. So it's almost like as we're coming out of this cocooning that we've been in for the last couple of years, as we come out, it's like the landscape has changed. And I think that's really, really interesting. If you think back to your mindset 2 years ago, even though you might look around and everything might be so-called the same, supermarkets are the same, people are kind of the same, everything, but there is a definitely different mentality that you'll have going on. Like, what are your priorities? What's important? What are some of the things that have survived COVID? Like, what are some of your habits that have survived? And what are some of the habits that you've just got rid of, or you've upgraded, or you've shifted? So each and every one of us have gone through a huge metamorphosis process. So what's really interesting, I think, is the culmination of that. So you might think, oh, well, I've been through a few minor changes here and there. But then when you add that up with your family's changes and your neighborhood's changes and your country's changes and the planet, that's big stuff, right? Each and every one of us have shifted a little bit, but the entire globe will have shifted fundamentally on its axis because each and every one of us has changed a little bit all at the same time. It's unprecedented, really unprecedented. So I get quite excited when I talk about it because I'm like, what's going to happen now? Literally, sometimes I feel like I'm at the cinema with the biggest bowl of popcorn you've ever seen in your life. And I'm just like, oh, Lord. So I think it's an amazing time to be alive. It's like we can just sit and just watch the unfolding process and participate in it ourselves. So this little shift, and some of you might have gone through huge shifts, right? So some of us have gone through major metamorphosis. Some of us have changed a few habits here and there, but it's owning your own metamorphosis. So what in your life are you starting to own, starting to change, starting to highlight? And hopefully you're being able to root them back down to fundamental values. And it may be as simple as, because you've been working from home, you've reconnected with family in a way that you weren't doing before. Or it might have been that because you've changed in some of your working practices that you really realize what's important, what's not. When you're going back into the office, you're not staying there till 9 o'clock at night anymore because it's like, I'm just not going to do that. Now, as each and every one of us starts to align in with what are some of our core principles, then this is going to have a huge knock-on effect of what goes outwards. And I think it's really important for each of us to hold that light. And the theme really for this month is to come back to those fundamental values. Don't let them get lost in all the noise and excitement and activity of opening up again. I think it's going to be quite easy because even though it's been 2 years, and 2 years is a long time to start breaking habits, I think for many of us, we're going to have almost a nostalgia about, how it was before. So we might have a kind of knee-jerk reaction to try and get back to how it was before, because there's a certain safety to that, right? And there's a certain habit, if you like, or comfort. So it's like, Amy, when you say you feel a bit disoriented, I think all of us feel disoriented. And you've got to really watch, because the unconscious grasping will be to grab onto something familiar. And that familiarity will be old habits, old haunts, old things you used to do, which may or may not serve you now. So there's such a powerful opening happening through March, as we said, but going on through April as well, is can you just hold within that disorientation, keep breathing, keep doing your Reiki, keep doing all the stuff we're doing, so that you can allow the new to form. Now, because we're right smack in the middle of it, some of you may be very clear already. Like, we're all in different stages of this kind of directionality, orientation, shall we call it, or reorientation. That's probably simpler. Whereby for some of us, we will have emerged up. The image I'm getting is like we're all in these little submarines and the little things gone up, like, doot, 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 doot. And some of us, we will have popped up and gone, I see my direction. And it's already very clear. And so in a sense, what I'm talking about, you're like, yeah, I did that a few weeks ago, or even a month ago, or whatever. And then for some of you, you're like, oh, I haven't quite broken the surface yet with my little, what is it called? E.T.'s finger. Periscope. So for some of you, your periscope's not quite popped up, or it's popped up and you're looking around and there's no land, right? And you're like, oh my God, I'm still in the middle of the ocean. So for those of you that aren't quite through that phase, just knowing where you are and being comfortable with this kind of level of disorientation or unknowing or still not clear, I think it's good to just know, right? And it's a very temporary thing. So it's just to allow yourself to be okay with that, and coming back, as always, to those fundamental core values that you feel, these are my priorities. This is what I've learned over the last couple of years. This is what I want from my life. These are important fundamental things that I want to keep in my life. And maybe even just journaling a little bit around that so that you're really clear, but not trying to then identify how that looks. Because one of the things that I've really noticed when people are starting to really pop up and reorient themselves is, for most people, it's a little bit of a shock or a surprise. Like, it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I know certainly from my viewpoint, I've been thrown into all kinds of different directions that when I look at it, actually are projects that have been ongoing, but they've popped up in really unusual ways. Or there's just been like something come over from the side that I'm like, oh God, I wasn't expecting that. So stay open and curious as an observer to what is popping up into your life, and try not to grab onto old ways of doing things. Like, really see if you can just extend, even as we become, because now we're becoming much more spacious, much more open, things are opening up. And there's that movement happening that wasn't happening before, right? So all this movement. And of course, we're very uncomfortable when we're idling with all this energy, because we feel like we need to put it in a certain direction, know where we're going, orient ourselves, all that kind of thing. But if you haven't been given the go sign yet, just be comfortable. If you think about the Formula One, you're about ready to go, but you're not quite pushing the accelerator, and be okay with that, because I think there is a whole bunch of stuff starting to settle in the ether for next directions. Does that kind of make sense for people? I'm just going to go with the couple of nods I can see. Rest of you, if you're shaking your head, too bad. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the yeses in the chat. Okay, so what we do in our meditation is, I would like to say we go on theme, but we probably don't. I mean, we just kind of, whatever pops into my head is what comes out my mouth, no filter. But we kind of go through a little guided Reiki healing. I do a Reiki Reiju, as I said before. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm offering a Reiki attunement to everybody in the group, and I extend it out to anybody who is listening to this audio afterwards. The easiest way to collect it is just to open and go with what I'm saying, and then just collect it. And what I mean by that is just intend to collect it. And then just see what happens. As we're all Reiki people anyway, it will just re-inspire, reinvigorate, or kind of spark up your Reiki. That's really all it's doing. And then as we do the guided meditation, if I'm saying anything that doesn't really resonate, or you just kind of get lost in your own process, please just allow that to happen. My guided meditation is really just to hold us all as a group. It's not particularly meaningful in any other way. It's just to kind of hold the group attention so that we can do some healing together. That's really all it's meant to do. And then just see where it takes you. Yeah, it can be quite a fun little ride. I turn off my video because I prefer it that way. It helps me concentrate, but you guys, it's up to you what you do with that. And then I will pop it back on afterwards. Okay, so the Gasho, when I say Gasho, hands coming together, it's just placing your hands into prayer pose. And that just allows you to kind of focus in and get us ready for the attunement. So we're going to start off just bringing hands in Gasho and then placing your hands in front of your heart center and gently closing your eyes. And as you close your eyes, you're just going to start following the breath, dropping your attention away from the busy mind and into the chest, the heart, perhaps your hands. Just starting to settle your energy down. And then we're going to bring our attention back up now into the crown. And if you imagine your crown as 1,000-petaled lotus and just allowing it to open up. And as it opens up, you just allow that Reiki energy in as if you're breathing it in. So you're breathing in from the cosmos, universal life force, into the heart center. And on the out breath, you can play with moving that energy from the heart center down your arms, out the hands. So inhale through the crown into the heart center, exhale down the arms, into the hands, into the prayer pose itself. And then whenever you're ready, just bringing your hands anywhere down on your body. You could have them on your lap. You could have them over the heart center and the sacral, but just palms on your body, allowing that Reiki to come through. And if you're Reiki 2 or above, you're just starting to tune in with the symbols to every single person joining us today. Anybody listening to this recording afterwards, so that we create a really healing energy where the Reiki is just coming out of us, but we're also receiving it. You might like to imagine us all together in a big hall, or maybe a garden, or just surrounded by white light. And we're just sharing healing. And then just starting to check in with our own body, doing a scan, just making sure everything is relaxed. From the top of the head, Just allowing the eyes, the eyelids to relax, the cheeks, checking the jaw is not being held too tight. Moving the chin just slightly towards the neck to straighten that spine. Moving the attention into the shoulders, using the exhale just to relax, release any tight muscles. All the way down through the arms, into the elbows, forearms, into the hands. Noticing where the hands are touching the body. If you're noticing any Reiki vibrations or any sensations where the hands are touching the body itself, just noticing, observing. And then bringing the attention into the chest. Watching the inhale, exhale, not trying to change the breath in any way, just noticing. Relaxing into the belly, relaxing the abdomen, all the organs. Making sure the back is relaxed. Into the hips, legs, feet. If your feet are on the ground, just noticing the solidity of the floor. And imagining, however you're sitting, that you're really held by the earth, whether it's sitting in a chair, just noticing how solid that chair is. Or the bed, or the floor, wherever you are. Noticing how it holds you, supports you. Extending that awareness to the room you're sitting in, the roof over your head, protecting you from the elements. The walls providing a healing container for you. Just starting to bring your attention into all the support you have in your life, whether it is the room you're sitting in, the job you have, the family, friends. Noticing what's important, what comes to mind. Sending out love and appreciation, gratitude. We're going to explore the very simple support from Mother Earth. Just allowing your feet to be the vehicles for this. As if your feet themselves are growing anchors or shafts of light You're just starting to connect to the earth, allowing those lights, those tunnels or funnels to find their way into the earth. You might notice your feet activate once they hit the earth. Feel more solid. Just resting all your attention way down there. Letting your attention, if possible, drop further and deeper until you can sense the earth itself. It may feel solid, may feel light and spacious. Just noticing how calm, serene, steady. And as you breathe and just keep your focus there, just notice how undisturbed it is by all the fussing and moving and whatever is going on its surface. The earth itself remains perfectly calm. And if there's any noise in your end or my end, just really allowing that to be part of the meditation, that you're dropping deeper. All that background noise is just part of life. You can't turn it off, but you can just allow yourself to drop under it, just anchoring yourself into the ground. Just noticing this enormous resource of peace and calm. You can play with the idea of breathing it up through the feet into the body, into the aura. See how that feels. Reminding yourself to keep the body relaxed, open to the healing it's receiving right now from everybody, open to the healing you're giving right now to everybody. Beautiful exchange, a sharing. Totally unconditional, just being here with each other. And also notice as you are just experiencing this earth energy, the depth of your patience. Whatever is happening, whatever the mind is grasping around for, whatever level of disorientation you may feel. When you bring yourself and your focus and attention into the depths of your body, into the depths of the earth, you can feel this immense watching, patience, ability to simply allow the unfolding. No rush, enjoying moment by moment. Each interaction, each new event. Simply curious as to the unfolding, not needing to grasp at anything or know anything. Simply being open and relaxed and grounded. And as you tune in to each and everybody else today, noticing how relaxed and grounded they are too. And this huge strength and clarity and power. And remembering to breathe, stay relaxed. No need to tense up for anything. No need to hold your breath or think. Just allowing your own light to percolate all through the cells. Allowing it to percolate out into your aura. Just checking the robustness of your aura as if you're looking for any leaks or tears or little cracks. Making sure that you are a robust and complete bubble of energy, clear boundaries. You might inhale into the heart center. Beautiful white light or golden light, and exhale it all the way out through the cells, through the skin, into the aura, just double checking. Does it know the boundaries? Can you feel your own completeness? And if you notice there's a little bit of leaking or unsure boundaries, just very gently making it more solid, as if you're encased in a beautiful translucent bubble, allowing things in and out totally open, but also totally clear. What's mine, what's not mine. Bringing that awareness deeper now into the breath. Just noticing the outer edges of your own physical body, the top of your head, the shoulders, the arms, where your hands are on the body, into the chest, deepening the breath into the belly, all the way down the legs to the feet, wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, giving yourself a little stretch, raising your arms above your head and shaking those arms all the way down through the spine. And whenever you're ready, opening your eyes.